Affair and Relationship Autopsy. I am 34, still want to be with her at 32. Why the hell can I still love her? The characters, me, my wife, known as she, and her coworker and acquaintance, whom I will refer to as Mazda, as he shares the same first surname as my brother, and it's a painful association. I became aware of the affair the first week of October. She had been going to the gym often, and had been avoiding couple activities, preferring to spend her weekends with friends. I became suspicious for no good reason, just a gut feeling, the one that I recognize well now. I used the Find My Phone app that I had installed for anti-theft purposes on the new phone I bought for her. This showed me that she was at her friend's house. I stupidly pressed the alert function. I think in my mind it would stop any activities, and by the time I got there with my keys, clicking to alert our car's beeper, she was long gone. I came home. She was in the bathroom. I know now that she was furiously deleting texts and letting him know that I knew, and that I might be at his house all crazy. I let her know through the bathroom door that I was home. I felt scared and elated at the same time, major adrenaline. I called her out. "What's going on between you and Mazda?" When she came out, she denied everything, said she was at the gym. The Find My Phone app was on my computer screen. She could see it. She said that she had to go to the grocery store and pick up some things. She did go there. There was a bag. I started to doubt myself. The route from the grocery store to our house was not consistent, where I located her phone. She said she was avoiding traffic lights. She had never taken that route with me, and that was our store. I started to believe her. I could reconcile that she would lie to me in a way this important, for the ramifications of the lie were huge, even though it was what I suspected. We had been together through 14 years, through good times and bad times, always. Each other's rock. We were a team. I started to believe that I was crazy, mainly because it was easier than believing the truth. She encouraged it. She let me know that her honor being questioned was not something she would forgive or forget easily. On the defensive now, I said it was because things were not going well with us, and I was worried and maybe a little crazy. To back it up, I had been sleeping on the couch and drinking a fair amount often, which caused me to snore. I'd also gotten fat and basically let myself go. I like to believe that the alcohol was self-medication due to the lack of affection and low-level depression. But now I know that is a partial cop-out. I should have been the best version of me that was possible. She did withdraw her affection during this time, but I can't blame anyone but myself for the way I handled the stress of a new job, and the fact that I was taking her for granted and allowing her to pull away. We had sex maybe once, and not good. The bottom line is that I became a fat slob who kept her awake at night in her eyes. She couldn't sleep with the noise, so I made the couch my home. Madden on Xbox became my emotional outlet, as fucked up as that is, and also probably brought back memories and resentment from our baby years, when I had neglected her and played video games instead of facing reality. I had started a new challenging job and was preoccupied with that. This had been a big change for me, and one that I thought she appreciated. I had previously been living by good, but inconsistent income and had been conventionally underemployed, which had caused a strain in our relationship, as she thought I was holding out for a job in my career in a selfish manner, which is true, but I thought I deserved to do what I loved. I was right in this regard. She could previously love her job, but did not appreciate that she had to work 9-5 in a stressful environment to enjoy the same lifestyle as me. I think that she became resentful of not necessarily carrying the income load, but the fact that I didn't have to work as hard to contribute, and when I did it was something I liked to do. In the previous years, she had paid the majority of our bills. These resentments build up, and she definitely has the ability to remember these things long after I have written them off and forgotten them, even though I was grateful. Her memory of slights is far-reaching. She had become distant after I had visited my parents in a faraway state, and right after I came back, the job started kicking my ass and taking all of my emotional energy. That is the backstory. I am trying to be as self-critical as I can be. I know I fucked up on relationship levels more than a person should be able to without repercussions. I just wish we had talked. I blame myself for that. I blame her more for finding another outlet. Fast forward to what a lot of people call Discovery Day. I went to bed believing that I was crazy, and that we would work on our problems, which seemed to be all mine, my mistrust and our recent distant behavior. I woke up in the night, sat straight out of bed, because I had the phrase, "The truth will set you free" in my mind. I was having a minor panic attack and went downstairs. I looked at the receipt on the thing she had bought and compared it with the time on the iPhone app. It proved that she was nowhere near her gym on the other side of town. During the time she was gone, I yelled to her as she pretended to sleep. You lied to me," I broke down as the full weight of the truth sat on my shoulders. She came downstairs as I broke down mentally. She admitted that she liked him. I threatened to leave. She let me know that she loved me, and it was a sympathy thing with Mazda. She had brought him soup out of sympathy because he was poor and needed looking after. I went back later and checked the soup story vs the receipt. Not true. Cash and put it in a separate bag, which she bought for 5 cents. This is a lie that she has kept going, and even to this day won't relent on. I guess in her mind it fills a role where she is nothing but a comforter to this poor lost soul. She likes to believe lies that she creates. She later said in bed, after our tears were done, that she should have just admitted that she was bringing him soup. That lie sticks in my gall to this day. She was just sad at that point that she hadn't A, either lied better, or B, told a half-truth, which I would have believed more. The next few weeks were brutal. I was full of love and forgiveness for her. I knew that I fucked up in regards to treating her right, and wanted to make amends. She let me know what had pushed her to the point of an emotional connection with someone else. We spent time together. The next week, she talked to her friend C. She said she was done with him. She said that when she had let him know that we were through, he had just offered token support. She said this was something that I would be happy to hear. It made me feel like the second choice, which is exactly what I was, but she felt that is what I should be happy to be. Little bit by little bit, the truth iceberg surfaced. She couldn't to this point admit to the truth. We were doing good, and the white surface was bobbing along on the calm sea. I asked her if she would ever hurt me again, and she looked in my eyes and said no. I love you. Below the surface there was a layer of shit-brown lies and deception. This is where it got bad. The lies continued. She checked her phone often and hid the number or deleted messages. I was so sad, but so fearful of losing her. So I didn't make waves, just trusted what she said, even though I knew it was wrong. During this time, the description of her role with the affair partner, Mazda, changed from best friend to motherly, to soulmate, back to best friend, and then again to mother. One night, lying in bed, she asked me what I wanted from her. I told her honesty and affection. The look on her face made it clear to me that I had asked the two things that she was unwilling to part with. I am hazy about this time frame, but one night she threw it all on the table. Things were going good, and I asked her if she would not hurt me again. How many I was. The look in her eyes as she reclined on the couch, me on the floor, I won't ever forget. She looked at me and told me that she didn't love me, that she was in love with Mazda. I stormed out and couldn't believe it, although she had said the same thing 2 years before, about someone else. She packed her bags as I returned to the house and broke down like a pitiful beggar and begged her to stay. I spent the next 2 weeks at my sister's. I realized that she was battling depression and tried to justify her actions vs that fact. I got drunk with a neighbor and visited her, and she agreed that I was the best thing in her life and that she didn't deserve to be with me, but that we would work it out. We spent a lot of time texting. I rejoined her just before my parents were visiting. I asked her to block Mazda's number and delete him from Facebook. She wouldn't, as it violated who she was and her independence. This broke me, and I didn't have the heart to break it off then. She was part of the family, but when she joined us on vacation it was awkward, and she was pining for the other man, in a passive-aggressive way. I poured myself out and got a token back. When we got back we split up again for another month. She needed space. This was around Thanksgiving. Halfway through, I made it known to her that I wasn't going to take any more mistreatment, although I knew I would. I went over to her with the intention of breaking it up with her. She knew it was coming. I gave her some ultimatums that I needed in order to stay with her, money that we both shared, transparency with her passwords. She was contrite, said that she had had a change of heart. She honored some of my requests. She gave me the money. I'm glad about that. I was weak. I believed that she did love me, but I didn't know her heart was split in two. She couldn't have the ability to give me what I asked. The next week had the same results, lovely text messages, reconciliation, and ultimately enough so that I would be strung along. This is as much fault of mine as it is hers. At this point I'm in the fog as well, the fog that says that this person is going to change despite the evidence. Fast forward to December. She is keeping all of my boundaries. I'm showering her with affection. We are making mediocre love, where she disappears immediately afterwards, no cuddling or reconnecting, like she has to cleanse herself of me. I feel like I am violating her on some weird level. I am suspicious, but she is keeping this straight and narrow. Here comes my gut. I felt it and drank to gain the courage. We fight about her quitting her job. I ask if she is still in love with Mazda. She says yes. I can't work with that. I kick her out. She emails me about love. I'm buying in. What the hell is wrong with me? Update. I checked our phone bill, and yes, a flurry of texts between Mazda and her. She had just sent me an email about how she loved and respected me. I had bought into it, because after I threw her out on the 22nd, she had made suggestions that she would work on herself, find herself, and leave Mazda alone for now. I became incensed, grabbed whatever was left of hers, and tossed it into the yard, letting her know via text. She showed up about 5 minutes later, dressed in a baggy pair of his sweatpants. I took frequent breaks. Eventually, her friend showed up. I kept tossing things. She informed me that I was classy. I asked if she was now giving lessons on classy behavior. She stayed all night when there was items that her car couldn't fit. She just sat in the car texting Mazda. In the morning when I woke up, she was carting a few things in the U-Haul. Mazda didn't show up, thankfully for him, as he would be in the hospital and I in jail. The landlords, our neighbors, watched the whole thing from inside their windows. I was a little embarrassed the next day, but one of them had been in a relationship where she was cheated on and was cheering me on from inside the house, apparently. It felt really good and cathartic at the time, and overall it was a good experience. I did feel guilty the next day, mainly for letting her shit affect my emotions so much, and stupidly apologized. She said, "I'm not mad, I'm just heartbroken for us." This pissed me off, because I was hoping for mutual hate. I could be rid of her manipulations. I'm like putty at this point.